For our first soup, we are making this loaded baked potato soup. It is so good. You're going to start off by adding your cashews into a little pot with water, and we're going to boil these for about 20 to 30 minutes, or you can soak them overnight. Then we're going to take about 4 strips of vegan bacon. I'm using the one from Hooray Foods. It was really delicious. I was actually very impressed. I chopped it up nice and small. Then in the pot that we're going to cook the soup, I added the bacon into and let that cook according to package directions. And you'll see that bacon is letting off some oil, and that's great. It has flavor in there. It's delicious. We're going to remove the bacon once it's cooked, and then we're going to add in a little more olive oil and our onions, and we're going to cook the onions in the remaining oil from the bacon and in the olive oil. Cook them until they're like translucent. Then you're going to add in 4 chopped potatoes, and we're going to add in our water. I'm using yellow potatoes, or you can use russet potatoes. And then I'm also going to add in a spoonful of better than bouillon to give it some really nice flavor. You're just going to let this cook for about 20 minutes until the potatoes are nice and fork tender, stirred occasionally. At this point, you can blend up your cashews, so drain out any excess water, add them into a blender with half a cup of non-dairy milk, unsweetened, unflavored, blend until nice and creamy and smooth, and it should look like this. I call this like a cashew heavy cream. At this point, our potatoes are nice and soft, so I'm going to transfer most of the soup into my Vitamix blender. I am going to leave a little bit in the bottom of the pot. You can also use an immersion blender for this, and just be careful. Make sure you're using a blender that's appropriate to use with hot liquids. And you can see I left maybe like, I don't know, half a cup in the bottom of the pot. So then once we blended it up smoothly, I'm going to transfer that into the pot and mix it up all together. This is definitely a really nice and thick creamy soup, and I like to add water into the bottom of my blender to first of all get any of the potato mixture that I kind of couldn't get out, and also just to help thin out the soup. So I added probably like 1.5 cups to 2 cups of water, and you can add as much or as little water as you like. Now we're going to add in about 1/3 of a cup of vegan sour cream. I'm using the one from Tofutti. We're going to add in some salt, some garlic powder, and some black pepper, but add in any seasonings that you like. And we're just going to let this cook for about 5 to 7 minutes until the vegan sour cream is kind of like melted down and everything is really smooth and creamy and warmed through completely. Once it is all done, it will be time to serve. And just look at how creamy and luscious that is. So once everything had been broken down, I removed it from the heat, and it just looks so good. So I'm going to add it into my little crock, and then we're going to garnish it. This is where the important part is. We're going to add in some vegan sour cream, some chives, some vegan cheddar shreds, some of that vegan bacon, and some black pepper. We're going to basically garnish it and add what you would with a normal baked potato. And this soup is absolutely delicious. It was non-vegan approved. It's amazing, and it literally feels like you're eating a bowl of baked potato. Like, it's so weird, but it's so good. I don't know. It's just, you have to try it. It's delicious. For our next soup, we're making this vodka tortellini soup. So basically, think of like all the goodness of vodka sauce in here. So we're going to take olive oil and vegan butter, let that melt down. I'm using the Earth Balance vegan butter. And then we're going to add in some chopped up garlic and onion. You're going to let that cook for about 5 to 7 minutes until fragrant and the onions are translucent. Make sure nothing burns, of course. Then you're going to add in 3/4 cup of vodka. And you want to use a vodka that you like to drink. So, make sure it's something that you think tastes decent. And we're going to let that cook for about 7 minutes and reduce down by about half. So you'll see in a second the difference, how much that reduced down. And then we're going to add in our tomato paste, and just giving some nice squeezes of that in there. Mix that up, and then we're going to add in our vegan creamer. I'm using the one from Califia Farms. It's like an almond and coconut creamer, I believe. It was pretty good. It was a little thinner than I would have maybe liked. Maybe the silk heavy cream would be better for this. So you can maybe adjust the creamer amount depending on which vegan creamer you're using. Then we're going to add in 4 cups of water, and then we're just going to add in some seasonings. So I always like to add a little bit of sugar with my tomato sauce, and so I'm going to do that. I added more creamer in because I just felt like this creamer was really thin. I didn't expect it to be this thin. So I'm going to add in some organic sugar and some garlic powder, and that's it. Then we're going to add in our vegan Parmesan, and then we're just going to let this cook and kind of boil and reduce down for about 15 minutes, just till everything gets nice and flavorful. From there, we're going to add in lots of fresh spinach, nice handfuls, and then we're going to add in our vegan tortellini. I'm using the Kite Hill non-dairy vegan tortellini. You can of course make your own tortellini. I have a recipe if you want it, but that's very time consuming. So I would either say to maybe use these, or if you can't find these, then you can use like gnocchi or something. That would be a good substitute. And just let these cook for about 3 to 4 minutes until the tortellini are floating at the top. Again, I just kept adding in more heavy cream because I was like, why is this not looking as creamy as I wanted it to? But I realized in the end that creamer was just very thin, but it was still delicious. So when it's all done, it looks like this, and you have this amazing, incredible broth. I don't really even like tomato soup, to be quite honest, but this was delicious and I want to eat it every day. And that is it. Now you have this amazing soup, and we are just going to add it to our bowl. I also love that you get the spinach in there. You could of course add in some extra veggies if you like. Top it with red pepper flakes and some extra vegan parmesan, and I like to add a few pieces of basil in to be fancy, and that's it. Another delicious soup. I hope you guys enjoyed these recipes. If you do, make sure to check out the description box down below for all the information or my blog posts. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for being here, and I'll see you next week with another recipe. Bye.